I see the icon.
I would like to call this September 21st, 2021 Community Services Commission meeting to order. Could I have Commissioner Phillips Martinez lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. Ready? Begin.
Let me get the flag up, guys. Hold on a second.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America
and to the republic
which it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty,
with
and
liberty and
justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Phillips Martinez. Moving on to the next item, roll call.
Chairperson Megan Scarborough Eckel,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Kimberly Barraza,
present,
Commissioner Armin Ordian,
Present.
Commissioner Kevin Wilcoxen, Commissioner Kevin Wilcoxen, his mic is muted.
It's not showing that his mic is muted, but we can't hear him.
Okay, well, maybe his audio is not working. Commissioner Ronald Phillips Martinez,
present.
And moving on to Commissioner comments, I'll start with Vice Chairperson Kimberly Barraza.
thank you. Hi, everyone, nice to see you all. I guess welcome back from our summer break. It's nice to be back. I want to go ahead and start and letting you know, I recently met with a constituent, a resident of Indio in regard to water basins. So with their maintenance and just, I guess, overall the maintenance of them. Paul, I know that you've been in communication with this resident. A little bit later when you provide us an update, if maybe if you can let us know what the role of the city is, like what, not the role, but like what the city has to do to maintain them, and then also talk a little bit about the relationship with the contractor. If I'm not mistaken, we outsourced that part of it. And so it was a really good meeting. Always open to hear public's concern. So I wanted to go ahead and start with that, and that you all know, again, it's nice to see you, and you know, I'm happy to have this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairperson Barraza. Commissioner Ordian.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. It's good to see you all. For the public comment, I was part of the blood giving stream in Palm Desert in August. I was part of the organization that we have for the Palm Desert area. And so, we're basically donating some bags, some goodies, and it was really nice. So the blood, it's always good to give a blood, and I encourage everyone to do that. So that would be my public comment. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Ordian. Commissioner Wilcoxen, we'll see if your mic's working.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. I just visited the teen center and the senior center today, and I'm just overwhelmed by how friendly, competent, they're just wonderful people. Every time I visit these places, they're just great staff. So I just want to congratulate Jim on finding some excellent staff.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilcoxen and Commissioner Phillips Martinez.
Good evening, everyone. Again, welcome. I'm glad to see everybody's back. I'm looking forward to see what the commission can accomplish over this next season. And hopefully we'll be meeting with the city council soon in joint session, and we can see how we can serve our community in a better way. It's nice to see so many streets being serviced around Indio as well. It's been great.
Thank you, Commissioner Phillips Martinez. I don't have any comments at this time other than hello and welcome back to everyone. I hope you had a nice summer break. So we'll move on to public comment. Edith, do we have any?
No.
All right, then we'll move on to item number 6, approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion?
Approval.
I second the motion.
And roll call, Edith.
Chairperson Megan Scarborough Echo,
Aye.
Vice Chairperson Kimberly Barraza,
Aye.
Commissioner Armin Ordian,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcoxen,
Aye.
Commissioner Ronald Phillips Martinez.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Moving on to item number 6, department updates. I'll start with Commissioner Wilcoxen with the Senior Center and the Teen Center.
Okay. It was nice to see the centers open. The kids were not there at the teen center. It was in the morning, but the senior center was really bustling. It was really bustling. It was really good to see lots of activities in pretty much all the areas except the library. Nobody was in the library. Too active, I guess. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilcoxen. Moving on to Commissioner Phillips Martinez with the Indio Performing Arts Center.
There is a lot going on at the Indio Performing Arts Center. They are in the process right now of expanding their seating capacity. We're adding another theater. So all of the shows in the past have been in one of the smaller 126 seat theaters. And we're now expanding into one of the larger venues where we'll have 250 seats. They are reopening on October 8th with the producers, and they have 7 shows running this season. And it's very exciting. Our Kids Works program will return this summer, along with Arts Works. So the refurbishment at the center, plus all of the things that are going on, is amazing. So we're very happy to be back.
Thank you, Commissioner Phillips Martinez. Commissioner Armin Ordian with Parks and Open Spaces.
I don't have any updates on that today.
Thank you, Commissioner Ordian. Moving on to Vice Chairperson Kimberly Barraza with special events.
Yes, I guess there's not much to report on that. We're still scheduled to go ahead and have our big events next spring. I have not heard anything other than, if I'm not mistaken, they will be requiring vaccinations, and they're working on all those protocols, safety protocols. So we're looking forward to having them in town and seeing how that's gonna, work out in a safely manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairperson Barraza. And I have an update on the Indio Golf Course. It's been still pretty steady throughout the summer, maybe not as busy as it once was or later in our meetings. The only question I had, I guess, was that I think normally by now we would have done overseating, and I haven't seen that. So maybe Jim could give us an update later on that. But other than that, business still seems to be doing well, and I'm sure the post office is as well. So we'll move on to item number 8, park updates, and I will start with Vice Chairperson Kimberly Barraza.
Yes, so as you know, I cover South Jackson and Dr. Carrion. The parks are looking good. They're being kept clean. I know that there's some work being done. There was some work being done at the South Jackson and then some other at the Dr. Carrion. I do want to go ahead and share. I believe that there's some talks about moving what we had scheduled or approved for the art pieces to come into the Dr. Carrion. So if Jim or Paul, if you can provide a little bit more information on where we're at with that before it got stalled because of the pandemic, but I know that there's some thoughts of maybe moving it somewhere else. I'm a biggest advocate to bring it to that park as it was planned and intended. I know that it will create value to the community, and I know that our residents will love visiting it, and I can already see all the children living close by, teens going to go taking visiting the art pieces, taking pictures. So I'm excited to see that coming in. But I just want a little bit more clarification on whether or not that's being moved, or we're going to continue as planned installing those 3 art pieces at Dr. Carrion. So if maybe we can get a little bit more clarification. Other than that, parks are looking good, being maintained. So that's good. Thank you.
I'll talk about that.
Please.
My
Thank
update.
you. Okay, thank you, Vice Chairperson. Moving on to Commissioner Wardian.
Well, as you know, I'm covering 3 parks: Yucca, Shield, and North Jackson. They are all looking good. They're maintained. I mean, it's clean and nice. However, we don't really have much activities going on over there. And you can see some few families on the weekends. We have sometimes people 1 car or 2 cars, and the parks are great. I mean, the locations are good. So maybe we should think of creating some kind of events to draw more people to those parks, because it's really nice parks over there. So I mean, but technically it's all looking good. There is nothing really need to be done. Just a couple of places, just maybe paint, especially in the Jackson Park. But everything else is looking good. So I think we need to think more about how to have creating some kind of events, anything, family events, where people can gather. So I understand the pandemic, but still people gathering together. There's places they can go. So maybe we should do 1 step forward to create something and have more people come to those parks. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Oh, thank you, Commissioner Wardian.
No.
Go ahead, Commissioner Wilcoxon. I'll move on to you.
We had talked about this before, about some sort of, was it like some kind of event to publicize the parks? Excuse me. I don't know if that was on your agenda, Jim. It is. Oh, great. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Wilcoxon, did you want to go ahead and speak about your parks? I'll give you the floor.
Okay. Both parks are in good shape. I noticed there are now some soccer cages being put up in the one larger, the open space. So I guess that's going to be happening pretty soon. Otherwise, the regular crowd at Miles Park, and very, very quiet at Burr Street. That's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilcoxon. And I'll move on to Commissioner Phillips Martinez.
I have 4th and Dominguez Park. Both are in good shape. Again, like most of the other commissioners are commenting, they're underutilized. So it'd be great if we could see our parks used more. The one comment I had is about Doug York Plaza, which is in front of the Indio Performing Arts Center. We have quite a few transient people coming through there, and it would be great if we could get our care teams out there from the police department to assist those folks.
Chief, I think you were talking, but we couldn't hear you.
Looks like, yeah, we go.
Chairperson, if I may I add a few comments while we're on parks?
Sure.
Jim, can you maybe during your presentation share a little bit about the plan of having Desert Recreation District take over the Indio Parks, the maintenance for Indio Parks, and then maybe share a little bit about what that would entail? Is it just going to be maintenance? Are we looking? I know it's going to be maintenance and like operations. So maybe if you can share that with my fellow commissioners, and then also for the public to know. I know that this has been discussed during council meetings, if I'm not mistaken. But if you can share a little bit about that, and then also, I guess moving forward, if we're going to continue with the commission and what our role will be, or like, are you going to be, Jim, are you going to be our liaison with the Desert Rec, or how are we going to, I know that it still has not been decided 100%. So maybe, but just so that we can, start getting on track and see what, start planning for the future and how we'll be, conducting business as a commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairperson. I guess I'll just echo the same sentiment as everyone else, that our parks are definitely underutilized. And I know we had talked before, even before last year, that we had talked previously about maybe bringing yoga to the park. I mean, just anything to draw people in. And I think it would be nice for us to get involved and do something like that. All right, we'll move on to item number 9, updates.
Okay, I got a lot to talk about. I will go start with what you just talked about. So at our last council meeting, the council approved the Desert Recreation District to take over our parks with maintenance and programming and pretty much everything to do with our parks. So they'll start putting programs in there with like yoga classes and things that they do at all the other cities that they have their parks. So you'll see a difference for sure with what happens in our parks, and that was one of the reasons why we brought them on, because they're already doing certain things in other cities in their parks, like La Quinta and Palm Desert and Rancho Mirage. So the city decided to bring them on board. We're just going to go through the next couple months of getting an agreement together, what it's actually going to look like, how it's actually going to work. So they're gearing up for probably January, taking over our parks, which also includes taking over AYSO, the IYSA at our Davis Field complex. So look for that to happen soon. We'll keep you abreast. I'd like them to do a presentation to our commission as soon as they have more meat on what they're going to be doing. They're going to have to hire staff. They're going to have park ambassadors that they already have in place at other cities. They'll have that in place at ours as well. That'll make sure the programs are being done well. They'll make sure that if there's an event, or if somebody wants to have a birthday party in the park, or a quinceañera, or any kind of event in the park, they'll be the ones that'll be scheduling those sort of things. So it'll take the burden off of myself and my staff to get those parks going. I think it's going to be a great thing for DRD. They're very well respected in the entire Coachella Valley, and we look forward to having them on board. The Desert Recreation District is also going to start doing some programming at our teen center. They're going to be using the teen center for some of their classes during the day when the teen center really is not open. We don't open until 2:30 every day, and we go till 7:30 at the teen center because that's when school really gets out. 2:30, some of the high schools not till 3:30. So our multi-purpose room, our boxing, our fields, our basketball court, Desert Recreation District is going to start doing that probably as soon as they can. We're going to do a facilities use agreement with them for just utilizing the teen center. So they have one of the biggest things they have is they have an overwhelming waiting list right now for gymnastics, whether that's 5, 4, 5, 6-year-olds. It might not be at school yet. They have some mommy and me classes. They need some extra room. So I think that'll be a quick little thing to get more use out of our teen center, which is what the council wants, and what'll make it all work well for the teen center. We'll utilize that building as good as it's utilized during the afternoon when the teens are there. we're averaging about 130 plus teens there every day. Right before I left today, there were probably 90 people in there, 90 kids in there, just doing everything and doing programming, and really just get overwhelmed with people. We need more staff to take care of all the kids that are going in there, but that'll come. And the Desert Recreation District, like I said, will be doing that. We have not decided on how the commission will work on that yet. The president, CEO of the Desert Recreation District does sit on the commissions from other cities, their park and recreation commissions or their community service commissions, other cities. So he might, I think I'll still probably be the city liaison for it, but he'll be the guy that'll do the reports. He'll talk to you all about the parks, because they won't really have anything to do with special events or the senior center, teen center, golf course, IPAC. So that's why I'll still be on board for that. But we don't know quite how it'll work, but I think he'll be, I don't remember the word for it, but he'll be not a voting member on the commission, but he'll be sitting on the commission and making his reports. So we probably won't have any activities there in the next 2 or 3 months. Plus, when I go over the events, you'll understand why, because of how busy we're going to be in the next couple months. But we are looking forward for January for Desert Recreation District on that. Does everybody kind of understand what we're doing on that? Did that answer your question, Kimberly?
Yes. Yes, and I do have a question. Will they be taking over only the parks, or will they do also open spaces such as like mediums on Jackson, 111, and also like water basins? Or is it just like parks?
You know what? That did come up at the council meeting. If you want, I'm sure you watched it. That's why you brought it up. So that'll all be worked out. They were talking about having them taking over some of our LLCs, which is our landscaping lighting districts.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that'll work into the agreement or if that'll even happen. So
could it be possible for our commission to maybe make that recommendation, like an official recommendation?
Yeah.
Like
So when the agreement is in the draft form, I'd like somebody present that, whoever's doing that agreement, which I think will probably be Scott Trujillo will probably handle that. I'd like him to come make a presentation to you guys for that. And then you could offer suggestions or offer any concerns that you might have before we go to final draft. So I think that's a great idea to do. And I think they were planning on doing that anyway. So you're right, because some of the maintenance on our parks does include some of the retention basins in some of our homes. Some we don't handle, but some we do. So
and then
we'll
some
have to.
other green spaces. I know people use as parks. I mean, I can think of Jackson, where we have the RPs, the Teak Jackson, and Highway 111. There's always people there. I always see families in that green space. So that's one of the reasons also why I mention it.
Yeah. At Jackson in like the 10, where the armory is, that right next to the school. Yeah.
Jackson and Highway 111. So yeah, by Jefferson. By Jefferson Middle School.
That's owned by the school.
That where the RPs, the TP RP.
No, I think you're referring to Marshall Parkway, which would be
in the middle median. Yeah.
Where we have Oculus Sol, grass and trees.
Yeah.
And we have a demonstration garden.
Yeah. So we'll see how
that's maintained through Public Works. We maintain.
Yeah. So I think all those things that are maintained through Public Works will probably go to the Desert Recreation District, but I'm not positive on that. So we'll bring up those concerns, write those down to make sure you kind of ask those questions when they bring it to our commission in the next couple months.
Thank you.
The golf course, I think you had a question on the golf course. The overseeding is October 4th through the 27th. So the golf course and the driving range will be closed October 4th through the 27th. And they are still doing well. The post office is doing well, but there is signage on their website and on our website and at the golf course on when overseeding is. So that's when it happens. As I mentioned, AYSO will be taken over by Desert Recreation District, but that won't happen until January. So they are starting to plan on practicing starting tonight. And their older age groups are going tonight, and they have some games next week. And then the younger divisions start next month, and they're going to have a full season that they've missed for a year because of COVID. So they're definitely looking forward to that. Another question was asked about the Dr. Carry-On, the art pieces. They are definitely staying at Dr. Carry-On. That was voted, not voted, but somebody did bring up at the council meeting, and everybody decided that is not There's no other place for that to go except Dr. Carry-On. I just got the schedule from Golden Voice on the installation of that. So it should be starting getting installed by, I think it was October 11th or 12th. So by the end of October, beginning November, the art pieces will be at Dr. Carry-On and ready to go. So they're on a pretty tight schedule for that, which has been kind of told to by our Public Works Department and everybody else on what that schedule is. So they will definitely be staying at Dr. Carry-On Park. The artist
Okay.
doesn't want.
Jim, you're muted. Your mic is
Back
muted.
on mute, Jim.
Sorry, I hit the button by accident. Did you hear what I said about the art pieces?
Yeah.
You heard that part. Okay, good. So definitely staying there. Kimberly, you were saying that you're not too busy right now with special events. Well, here we go. We have we have a national night out on October 5th. That's going to be happening downtown, right around City Hall. That's really put on by IPD. It'll have vendors there. There'll be SWAT. The SWAT cars and vehicles will be out there. Police vehicles. There'll be fire department there. It's just called a national night out, which happens every year. We had it in 2019. It was very successful. That's happening again October 5th. October 30th is an event called Streets for Treats. So it's a group that's coming in to offer Halloween treats and things like that around Miles Avenue, but it's also an event that's going to showcase some new street pieces like crosswalks that have artwork in it. So when you're not just walking across two white lines, there's going to be maybe art pieces that go in between the white lines. So that's your crosswalk. There's going to be cutouts on that are available. And these are just going to be shown as examples, but it might be incorporated into our city at a later time. But this is just an event to showcase these things that this company uses to kind of get some excitement on people crossing streets and being in the street. So look for that as well. It's kind of a cool little thing, but we're going to do it kind of around Halloween so that we can offer treats for kids. And there'll be vendors there. They're going to do it around the food park there on Miles and Smur and incorporate food trucks. So it'll be a nice event that's going to happen October 30th. November 6th is the barbecue festival at the Lights at the Indio Golf Course. November 6th, as you know, the barbecue festival has happened for the last 5 years. So it's back again for this year. They'll have the competition for the barbecue contest, and they'll be selling barbecue and music and food. And I think they're going to be bringing back the horseshoes again, which they did a couple years ago, or they're going to do the cornhole tournament, the cornhole fields, or what are they called? The cornhole lanes set up for people to use cornhole and have some fun during that. So that's November 6th. December 4th and 5th is the Tamale Festival. And to tell you a little bit about that, if you've been watching the council meeting, council did accept a new promoter. It's called the CUSP Agency. They're out of Los Angeles. The president and the founder of the CUSP Agency used to work for Golden Voice and worked for them for years and years with Coachella and Stagecoach and the rest of their team there and the rest of their festivals. So he branched off and formed his own agency called CUSP Agency, and they do events around the world. They also do a lot of events in LA. Very, very connected to Indio for sure. So we're looking forward to making the Tamale Festival even bigger and better than it ever has been in the past. They're very aggressive on what they want and what they want to showcase. And they have a contract for the next 3 years. So they'll do this one and 2 more after that. So CUSP Agency is going to be awesome. We've been meeting with them regularly. They've been talking to a lot of our sponsors, our old sponsors, our new sponsors, vendors, things like that. So that's about 2.5 months away. So they're working really hard to make that happen. The Ironman is scheduled for the Sunday of the Tamale Festival, which is December 5th. So it's going to follow the same routes that they did in 2019. If you remember, in 2018, it was a tough time for everybody that mostly in La Quinta, but a little bit in Indio. But in 2019, they moved some out a little bit, and it worked out very well. There were very few complaints and very few issues. So they're coming back for 2021. I'll tell you something really funny. The organizer for Ironman, I sent her a note on Friday or Thursday, I think it was. I sent her an email, and it came back an automatic reply, and it said, "I'm swimming the English Channel. I'll be in London until the 18th." So she's going to swim the English Channel this past weekend. So I can't wait to hear that. But kind of a funny automatic reply that came back. You don't get that very often. I certainly won't be having that on my automatic reply. So that's good stuff. And then Lacrosse Festival is usually in January. It's the 15th, 16th, and 17th, or that weekend. I can't remember the exact dates, but they are already sold out. They have no more teams that they can bring on unless teams drop out, which is a great sign because people want to come to Indio and they want to come in January when we have great weather and everybody else has snow and everything else that they got to deal with. So looking forward to having that back as well. And that's it for me, except I did have one question, is when we wanted to go back to in-person meetings, because the council is now meeting in person. The planning commission is now meeting in person. So are we ready to move to in-person in October? And if real quick question is, city council, there is one council member that still doesn't come in person. So we still have Zoom available for them, but most of the other council members are there. We have an audience that show up at every meeting. So I just want to know if you guys, they all wear masks when they're doing it. They keep their chairs distanced. And not in the audience it doesn't, but it's up to you guys whether we want to, if you're ready to come back or not. So I'll leave that up to you to let me know what you guys want to do, and I'll answer any questions you may have.
Yes, Jim, before maybe, I don't know if we're ready to answer going back in person, but before we do, can we invite the CUST agency to come so that we can they do like an intro presentation, and then also include if they have any new ideas or if they're going to be moving or anything special different for the Tamale Fest, if they can maybe present that. And it would be an opportunity for us to meet them, for the community to have a reference to see who they are, and then also learn of any new exciting things that they might be adding to the Tamale Festival. Please.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Well, they come out here every couple of weeks to meet with certain people, like their vendors that they're going to use for power, and I meet with them normally. So I'll try to get them in October. I'd like to have them meet you in person. So if we don't go in person until November, I can invite him then. But if we really want to see him in October, let's do in person, or I can throw him in Zoom if you want to. But I think you'd like him a lot better in person, just like we all like being in person than on Zoom.
Well, let's discuss this now. Is there anybody that's opposed to going back in person? I guess that's a no. So we're going to go back in person next month. Is everyone okay with that? Okay.
I love it. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome. Answer everybody's question.
Jim, have we been able to schedule a joint session with council yet?
We have not been able to schedule that yet. I'll ask again on what, because we got a new city manager, if you probably know, and I don't know when he came. I can't remember if he came in June or July or even May. I don't remember, but I'll see if he wants that to be done. I think it's a good idea.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Chief, can we try with you again if you have any thoughts? I know you were trying to speak earlier, but your mic still wasn't working.
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, a little low. Okay, well, perfect. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. I wanted to let Ron know I'll have the quality of life people go out and check on that area. I know we have offered services to some of the homeless people there, and they choose to sit and kind of meander around in that area. So we'll work on that and get them some services and see if we can move them along. The other part I wanted to just briefly tell you real quick, we have been talking to Golden Voice about the about the concerts. And you're absolutely right, Kimberly. There's going to be a lot of changes in how that takes place. So it's ever evolving. So we'll keep you updated on that. And I wanted to let you know on Dominguez Park, we did have some complaints on Dominguez Park about homeless living back in the corner and in the back there. There was a number of trees and bushes. And thanks to Paul and his team, we were able to get the bushes cut away, and we were able to offer services and move some of the homeless people that were camped out in the back there. So hopefully that's cleared up. Let us know if that issue comes back, but just keep me up to date on any kind of complaints or issues that you have. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Paul, can you go ahead and speak about the water basins and whatnot that Vice Chairperson Brazzo is talking about? I know we talked about it kind of earlier this year.
Well, the retention basins, the majority of them are landscape lighting districts. There are retention basins through the city. A lot of HOAs have retention basins. We would not be maintaining those, but basins that are within landscape lighting districts. And one that's Patton Park, for instance, Patton Park, the area that would be just west of the playground is a retention basin. But most districts have retention areas, and we check on them on a high frequency basis. I'm not sure of issues within any of them. They do have different stages of funding. Some landscape and lighting districts have greater funding than others, and so they have a higher maintenance. But I'm not exactly sure where the problem areas might be, where the customer concerns are, or if there are basins that we maintain where the concerns are.
Okay. Yes. I visited the one on Avenue 49, and I cannot remember what the other street is. Violet, I can't remember what the street going into the community there is. But I'll go ahead and send you some pictures. And more than anything is one of the major concerns for me was one of the bushes or right next to the walkway. Well, it was covering the walkway, so I'm a big advocate for people not blocking or covering walkways, just because people with disability, like, they cannot get off, like they have to cross through so it was blocking it, or it was not completely blocking it, but it was in the way of people walking. So you would have to get off the sidewalk to.
That plants of Mexican red bird of paradise has since been cut back, and so it's no longer blocking the sidewalk. Again, clearances again are something we look for, and that was a rather recent occurrence. It put on some growth, and kind of surprising. Plants can do that. It's already been reduced back.
Absolutely, and I do appreciate you and your team, because I did get a message from the residents letting me know that you had sent someone out there, or that they had done the maintenance. I guess the maintenance is not to the level of what residents would expect in comparison to how that basin looked in previous years. And so I think that's one of the reasons why it's being brought up to our attention. But more than anything, I wanted to make sure that I understand what the expectation is. I know that there's some this one in particular has desert landscape, and you could tell that it wasn't very well maintained. I know that one of the reasons why someone would move to a desert landscape is because it has it needs less of maintenance. But you can tell that this one, there was trees cut, you had that just never grow back, right? And I mean, I get it, but then there's also like water drippers, I think that's what they're called, but there were no plants next to it, so we're just watering dirt. Just different little details. Again, I would like to know just what level of maintenance we're expected, or the city's expected to provide in these open spaces, just to learn, right, whenever we're talking to residents, let them know, like, well, this is what we can do, or this is what the city is expected to do, or this is what the city is willing to do, just to address some other concerns. But I do know that with this individual in particular, you are in communication with him, and I know that you've worked with him in the past. And I do appreciate him bringing it up to our attention, because we do need more people like him, people that are truly concerned about open spaces for our children, for our families, and then just the overall look and like cleanliness of our city. I know that, for example, I ran into a situation walking down on Arabia Street where that in the curb, I was south of Requa, between Requa and 111, behind the Requa apartments, between Requa apartments and like Chase Bank. It has already been cleaned, but I got the opportunity to walk through there. I live very close by with my children, and it was just embarrassing how seeing like dirty diapers, trash there on the sidewalk. And I know that some of that area is private property, but I know that we're really good at citing other individuals or residents if they have trash outside their properties or in the way or in the view of others. So, but I mean, overall, I do appreciate your willingness to work with our residents and also your team going out there and maintaining our spaces. I just want to make sure, I understand what we're supposed to be doing as a city, or me representing the city as a commissioner, what like the correct answer will be to our residents, and then also how to direct them. This one in particular knows how to get a hold of you, but in the instance or chance of other residents not knowing how to, get to you, I think it's important for us, or at least for me, to understand a little bit about what the city's role is to be able to have a better communication with our residents. But yeah, Rob, thank you, Paul. I appreciate you for information.
The one thing I was going to say, Kimberly, is don't hesitate to wait for a commission meeting to bring something up. Email me, take a snapshot. If you're with your kids and there's something there, take a snapshot of it and text it to me or email it to me right away so we can get or if you get a question from a resident, just email me or call me right when you're with them, and I'll try to answer the call so you can answer them directly. One of the worst things that I don't like is when we don't get back to people. And if you don't know the answer and you don't ask me, then you're not going to get back to that person. So I would rather have you text me at 9 o'clock at night when you're taking a picture of when you're out on a walk, so that I can deal with it, so you can get back to that person. Our city manager has required us to do a 24-hour to get back to somebody. So if we get a phone call, he wants us to get back to people with 24 hours, which I think that would probably be with you guys, with the commissioner. If a resident asks you a question, you should be able to get back to them within 24 hours. Weekends, maybe it's a little different, but at least back to them so that they know, and you have a valid answer and an answer that that we'll follow up on it. So do not ever hesitate to call me, text me, email me at any time when you see a sidewalk that's messed up, or if you see graffiti and you don't know the graffiti hotline, shoot that to me so I can get it in to the graffiti folks and get that done. So it kind of applies to all the commissioners. Please email me, text me. You have all my information, and we'll get things done quickly.
Perfect. Thank you, Jim. I do appreciate that. Just to add to that, I got to meet our new city manager a couple of weeks ago. We had a meeting with my boss, Assembly Member Eduardo Garcia, and him. And so I'm excited to hear, some of the things that he's working on. One of them in particular is cleaning our city, which aligns with like the governor's goal for California. So I can't wait to see that and continue working on either community cleanups and then just assisting residents, make sure that our city is looking good, clean and good. Thank you.
Thank you. I think everyone's been doing their due diligence, and I think it's specifically with this retention basin, because I had brought it to Paul's attention back in February before. I know Kimberly and I talked about it then as well, and I had brought it up to Mayor Pro Tem Furman, and he actually had walked it back in, I think it was like June or something, and felt like it had been answered well enough, but obviously it's overgrown again. So I'm glad that it's been taken care of. Does anybody have anything else? Nope. Okay, well then I will adjourn this meeting, and our next one on October 19th will be in person. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.